From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And it is time for the premier sports betting show. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We got ourselves. But before we get into the show today, I would like to go ahead and introduce our new sponsor today. We'll be back with BetUs by the time we get to the NFL. But if you need a sports book, join pickyuraction.com. Bettors who sign up will have deposits 100% matched up to $1,000. Also, they offer daily payouts, which everybody loves, via Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Use the promo code POPNEW, and once confirmed, you have signed up to receive. Once confirmed, you have signed up, you will receive individual access to PTSI, which is reserved to my exclusive clients only. So let's start cashing tickets today. Sign up for pickyouraction.com and get ready to win. So there it is. Thank you so much and welcome to the family. Pickyouraction.com using the promo code POPNEW, and you guys will receive up to $1,000 worth of match deposits. So 100% matched. So sorry if I worded that kind of wrong, but you guys just go ahead and check them out. And just please remember this disclaimer. This is a book that I'm actually promoting. I am not involved with this book in any way, shape, or form, just so people don't get confused. And also, it's not a credit book either. It is only a deposit-only book. So pretty much, I just want to make sure we clarify all that in the beginning so that you guys know that there is somebody there for you to speak to, and it's not me, okay? But we are partners now, and pretty much you guys go ahead and join that sports book. They got a great site as well too, and I really do like what I see with them as well too. I'm gonna have a little bit of a tester weekend with them as well, so you guys check it out. They're good guys, great guys, and they're gonna be people that you can have conversations with and things of that nature, and daily payouts. Simple daily payouts. That's what everybody had been pining for the whole time with online books, and there you are. So pretty much, let's go ahead and get into the show today. And with the show, we're going to go ahead and the NBA Finals aftermath. Nuggets ride big first half lead to take game one with 104-93 victory over the Heat. So pretty much with that, they had themselves a very good moment last night. They won their first ever finals game. I know a lot of people in Denver were very excited about that. I know a lot of people felt like this was a boring finals and things of that nature, but I thought I was fairly entertained last night. I think that everybody kind of needs to get over the fact that, you know, they don't have the usual suspects here in Steph Curry and LeBron and you know, Jason Tatum, who they were looking for and making narratives for, you know, and you know, you don't get any Joel Embiid. I think in all reality, we really wanted to get the Sixers and the Nuggets so we could settle this Embiid Jokic situation, but it should be coming soon. That's one thing that you can keep your faith in, that we should probably be having a Jokic Embiid final very soon. But Bam Adebayo my pick for MVP, my number one pick for MVP, had a good night last night. He had 26 with 13 rebounds, so he got the double-double. So we cashed that ticket at plus 130. If he played the Jokic triple-double last night, that cashed out as well, too. That was a minus 140. Also, Jamal Murray had his 26 points last night as well with 10 assists, so that's pretty good. They combined for, man, what a night for these guys, man. 53 points, 14 assists, 16 rebounds for the best duo in basketball at the moment. Won't call them the best duo ever, but they are doing their best to impersonate Kobe and Shaq at this moment right now. And Aaron Gordon had himself probably Aaron Gordon will be my X factor for last night. He scored 16 points, had 6 rebounds and 1 assist. Michael Porter Jr. actually had more rebounds last night, the most rebounds last night. He actually stepped it up big time for a guy who's not seen as much of a more than a shooter and a spot up guy. He had 13 rebounds last night to 14 points, but he went 2-11 for 3. That's something that they're going to have to tighten up on in the next game. But Bruce Brown wound up being a big difference in this game last night. As usual, he comes in the game, gets 10 rebounds, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Very critical towards getting this team the victory. They didn't use much of their bench last night either. They had Jeff Green and Bron in the game, but they were in spot minutes as well, so that wasn't anything huge, but they got great contributions, and they got 5 guys in double figures last night, and that was pretty much the end-all be-all. It was a pretty much simplified game because 59 points to 42 points in the first half pretty much were the difference, but Miami won the second half, having themselves scoring 51 to the Nuggets 45. That's something that you take into the next game with the idea that the Heat may have the advantage because they figured some things out regardless of how people feel. But they needed a little bit more last night. They didn't get anything from Caleb Martin, the guy that should have won the East Finals MVP, but he only went 1 for 7 last night, and that was 1 3-pointer that he hit, and he did not play the minutes that you thought he would play because he kind of got outplayed last night by Highsmith, who had 18 points. He had another silent but deadly game for his team because he had 24 that nobody mentioned in game 5 against Boston as well too. So he had a really good game last night. Kyle Lowry was able to chip in 11 off the bench, but Jimmy Butler was the guy that they needed the most last night. Jimmy Butler only had 13 points, but he had 7 rebounds, 7 assists. But, you know, we can stop the hype train on Jimmy Butler being this like end-all be-all Kobe Bryant type Mamba mentality, Michael Jordan situation. The guy is day and night. Let's keep it real. And everybody who really knows hoop knows this as well too. And Jimmy Butler was not there last night. Minus 17. That was the biggest number on their team last night. And then they got 19 points from Gabe Vincent. Those were probably the points that did keep them in this game, but they didn't get enough from the guys that they truly need to get impact from. And no Kevin Love last night, and no Tyler Hero, because they have Tyler Hero on the waiting list to play in game 1. But I know Kevin Love's probably dealing with a back injury, but that's somebody I wouldn't have had on the bench last night. When you look at the shooting, they're not that far apart. It's just that the Nuggets made one more basket, but they made 50% of those shots. But the Heat had 17 more opportunities. So that means that they had the advantage to really be in this game last night. They wound up getting 11 rebounds off the offensive end last night and still don't figure out how to win this game. Forced 10 turnovers yesterday and still wind up getting beat by 11. But they got out rebounded by 2 when you check the stats. Now, they did win the 3-point shootout last night, 13-39, but they're going to have to tighten that up as well, too. Nuggets went 8 for 27, but this was the big disparity. The Nuggets went to the line 20 times compared to the 2 times that the Heat went to the line, and the Heat weren't sitting at the 3-point line. They just weren't getting any fouls called for them last night, in my opinion. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And you look at the amount of fouls for the total game, they only called 8 fouls on the Nuggets last night. So, there's some things that are going to have to get picked up on in this next game. I never put it on the refs because, guys miss shots, things of that nature. So it's all in all, it's good. It's good theater. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the NBA Finals Game 2 preview. And I'll be quick with this because, we got the game coming up Sunday. But as I said before when I was talking about the game, the Heat, if you're a Heat fan or if you're pulling for the Heat in this series, you should be very confident coming into this game. And I know it sounds crazy today, but y'all will see the result on Sunday. When a team figures out some things, it will look like the team got really beat on, but when you really gauge how well the second half went for Miami, even though they didn't pull away, and it was only, so much that they factored into them actually, being able to cut into that lead. Yeah, they lost by 11, but they were down 17 at the half, right? And they never got within, I say, 9 points last night, but they were making all the proper steps to get back in that game last night. They just couldn't crack. They just couldn't, crack that barrier that you needed to crack. They had a little moment where they got it down to about 9 points with about 5 minutes left to go in the game. And the Nuggets were able to make these free throws, the critical free throws that you need to make. But if it was a tight game last night going into the second half, Miami would have easily won this game last night. Miami figured out what they needed to do to really shut down the Nuggets, in my opinion. But the Nuggets were able to get big moments from guys like Bruce Brown, guys like Gordon. You're going to get Jamal Murray and Jokic to do what they do because they play off each other so well. But I felt like the real X factor didn't even have a big night last night, KCP. And I think that if you can keep the supporting cast in check, and that's something Miami figured out in the second half. If you can keep these guys in check, you got a chance. But if you're going to have a guy be the third scorer, fourth scorer that's getting over 15, 16 points, you're in trouble. And Miami should have figured that out last night. Knowing Spoelstra, he did figure that out last night. And that's why they were able to win in the second half. They got blew away in the first half. Let's not even, there's no sugarcoat to that. But the way they recovered is something that you have to really get your mind ready for, because they were still hustling. They were still playing hard. And I just felt like they didn't get enough from Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler really gets everybody going. And Jimmy Butler was not there last night. 6 of 14, that's just not going to cut it. He still almost shot 50% from the field, but he didn't shoot enough. And we know why he didn't shoot enough, because he did have somewhat of a good matchup on the defensive side that was holding him up just a little bit. But that means absolutely nothing when you're a big-time PTPer, big-time guy that's supposed to make big things happen on the court. So I truly do feel like what happens here in game 2, I know that I feel like people will probably say, damn, Pop, you just riding them, probably because you're getting the points on them. But I'm going to go back and bet it back, because I know I kind of messed up last night. I probably should have took the Nuggets, because the Nuggets it was kind of like a sure thing in a sense. I was going off the fact of what I've seen with teams that are playing in their first final, and then they've been rested, and then they're dealing with the players coming in hotter than fish grease, like Jimmy Butler, and pretty much you usually lose those games, but you have a mentally tough Nuggets team, and I knew that coming into the game, and I just wanted to test them real quick, and I failed the test. This time around, though, I think that we've got game 1 out the way. Now, let's go ahead, start this series up the right way, and I think what happens is we get ourselves a very close game come Monday. I'm not saying the Heat win the game, but I will say this: the Heat will go ahead and cover that plus 8.5. I think that they're doing a little bit too – I think that they're showing a little bit too much confidence in a team at this point, because I truly do think that at the end of the day, this will wind up being a very, very, very good spot. And I'm over here looking at Santa Anita's as I'm doing this as well. It's fantastic, just won. So we another second place horse, man. I've been dealing with a lot of second place horses today. So, just pardon me, you know what I mean? Pardon me, because man, it's just and I got a nice one going right now at Belmont as well too. Well, it was a nice one. They bet it down to 3-1. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. But NBA Finals Game 2, from what I'm saying right now, I truly do feel like the Heat do cover in this spot. And then we have a really good game come Sunday. We got to be entertained. They got to have something to really talk about during the week when it comes to the NBA Finals, because it was a little bit of a yawner week leading up to it. Everybody was more about Jokic and the crowning of the championship to the two-time MVP, and the Heat, they're Cinderellas and la 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 la. So Sunday will be the real idea of what to expect moving forward in the series. I feel like game 1 was just let's get it out the way. Let's figure out what we're doing here tonight. And just know that game 1 is always the most irrelevant game of the series. You can't win a series in game 1. You just can't. I know a lot of people say that, but you just can't do that. So pretty much let's go ahead and move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into some breaking news actually today. And it hasn't been all the way confirmed, but it has just pretty much all sources are pointing towards Frank Vogel taking over the Phoenix Suns. So the Suns will be hiring Frank Vogel to take over as the team's head coach. Last time he coached was in 2022 with the Lakers, 2021-22 season, coaching the Lakers, leading, and he was the Lakers coach when they did win in the bubble as well too. So that was something that was pretty huge in my opinion, because I felt like Frank Vogel was the right type of coach for that type of situation, even though, Luke Walton was put in place to be the Lakers' future coach for a long-term situation. And the Lakers really didn't want to move off of Luke Walton, but it wasn't going to work with LeBron and Luke Walton being there and being so close in age, and actually Luke being a guy that got drafted a year after LeBron as well, too. So there was a lot of just kind of not respect. There was no respect there, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And you had to see who was really in charge of the team, and they wound up handing the team over to LeBron. But Frank Vogel was the right type of coach to have, because Frank Vogel was really about the principles and really about coaching up guys that weren't the stars of the team. It was very helpful in the bubble because everything worked out to perfection. Then the next year you come around, AD gets hurt in the playoffs, and then you kind of get put into a bad position. Then you come back the next season and you and Westbrook can't get along to save your life. And pretty much what happens is Westbrook and him couldn't see eye to eye. Team goes ahead, kind of stop playing hard for him, and then winds up getting fired out of that situation. Takes a year off, does the right thing, takes a year off, and then becomes a top candidate for all these jobs. And I know that he was probably offered the Toronto job like right away. And I know he probably turned it down with the idea that he would be the coach of the Phoenix Suns once they did their due diligence, because I knew that they weren't going for Doc. I think they just brought in Doc so they could have a name for the newspapers, for the media, for the local people to get excited about. But Frank Vogel seemed like the perfect candidate for the job because he's fresh off of a championship. He won a championship. It's different from Monty Williams, team building and building up a team and making guys confident. Frank Vogel is doing exactly what you do when you're a really good coach and you know how to push a team to that next level because you've been at that next level. And I think that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Phoenix Suns. And since Nick Nurse became unavailable very quickly, then you have to go with the next option with Frank Vogel. And Frank Vogel's a little bit more recent in winning an NBA championship as well, too. So Frank Vogel seems to be the right fit for the Phoenix Suns because I know that he can coexist with the Durant. He can coexist with Devin Booker because he can coach that situation up. But he can also bring in the defensive principles that he's very heavy on as well. And this team is already ready to accept that as well. But we'll have to see though, because Frank tends to lose players. And this has happened in Indiana, it happened in Orlando, it happened in LA. And so hopefully a winning mantra and a winning attitude will change that approach towards a really good coach. I won't call him a great coach, but he's a really good coach. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some boxing real quick, but it's just a little bit of talk because we got a lot going on. Ryan Garcia up there going crazy on his and there goes Frank Vogel's picture as well too. Just wanted to show you guys that. I know I was talking with the screen on, but yeah, Frank Vogel headed to the Suns, headed to the Valley of the Sun. So that should be really good for Frank Vogel moving forward. And being with the team that's ready to accept some great coaching. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next. This is what we have coming up next. Let's talk a little pound for pound. Have boxing pound for pound lists lost their credibility due to favoritism? I think they have. A magazine that I worked with, and a magazine that I worked with for a bit when I first started really doing this boxing media stuff and everything like that. Once I stopped really using the PrimeTime Angles radio show and everything like that, I wanted to be more credible. So, I went ahead and joined up with Ring Magazine. Thank you to my man Scotty Tetra, who pressed the hell out of Doug Fisher and Leon to get his boy in there. And pretty much I thought that was like, I felt like I was at the golden goose of all boxing media and everything like that. But I figured out that I was about 10 years too late. And that's no offense to them, but they have their own way of thinking. And all those great writers and all those great people that were around Ring Magazine they're long gone. They're in graveyards somewhere. But the people that have taken over Ring, they are they love boxing as just as much as everybody else. But they've made it to where their personal opinions have became the pound for pound list and not a true accurate pound for pound list. Like, we have to keep it real. And I know this ain't going to go over well with some people, and it's probably not going to go over well with the head of the magazine as well either. But having Lomachenko on that list is absolutely a disgrace to actual pound for pound list, because Lomachenko hasn't done shit but go 2 for 2 in the last few years. If it's a pity situation because what happened in his country, I totally understand that part. But losing a close fight to Devin Haney does not keep you on that list. Losing should never keep you on that list. It doesn't matter if the fight was close or it was a fight that was wide. You lost. You don't belong on the list. You're not a champion. You don't belong on the list. So what are you doing on the list? There is no real answer to it. It's called you're playing favorites, and that's why they're on the list. Josh Taylor, another fighter who's only fought 3 times in the last 4 years. He stays on the list. He hasn't moved off the list. He's no longer an undisputed champion. He has 1 belt. It's the WNBA belt and the ring belt. So that doesn't make him a pound for pound fighter either. But he's on the list because why? He has the ring belt. And so if you have a ring belt, you automatically get on pound for pound because you're representing their mythical title situation. Yes, the Ring Magazine title used to be recognized as the world title for these weight classes, but that was a different time and a different place. Their rankings used to be used as the actual rankings for everybody. But it's a new day, and it's a new time, and it's a new place. And when you keep having guys that got beat be higher than the guys that beat them, that's a problem too. What's Bivol doing behind Canelo? He's already proven he was a better boxer than Canelo. It doesn't matter that you're the face of boxing. It doesn't matter, or the supposed face of boxing, because there is no such thing as a face of boxing. Boxing is a short-term success thing. Yeah, if you stick around for 10 years, that's like sticking around for 100 years and being on top. So Canelo's done a great job of being a person's face that's recognizable. But all that being the face of boxing stuff left about 2 years ago. Okay, because once he lost to Bivol, we're done with that. Because he's already had a questionable win and questionable draws against Triple G. He got housed. He got absolutely a lesson from both Floyd Mayweather and Eslandi Lara. Yeah, Eslandi Lara. Yeah, took his ass to school. So what makes him the number one guy? Because he knocked out 6 European guys within the last 5 years? Or because he beat an old Danny Jacobs? Or because he knocked out Kovalev, who came in there literally like Kovalev didn't even care. He just wanted to, he even said it was all about the money. He didn't even train that hard for that fight. So there's a lot of things that you guys do because you feel like because fans love these people or fans have said that this is their favorite boxer that they belong on a pound for pound list. No, they do not. And ain't no heavyweight a part of no pound for pound list because heavyweights are in a division that you can't really, you've already made your weight. So you're not going to be able to, move around like somebody who's pound for pound. And if you put a cruiserweight at number one, a guy who fought at cruiserweight before he got to heavyweight, that's absolutely insane because that's one of the worst weight classes in all of boxing. It's probably the most useless weight class in all of boxing, to be honest with you. 175, and then if you can't make 175, then your ass needs to move up to heavyweight. It's not hard to move up to be over 200 pounds because you're already in that league of stuff. And you already are a powerful guy as is if you're 175. But my thing is like this, cruiserweight is just a weight that a guy will have a short run with. Usyk was able to do pretty good in it because Usyk is a uber talent. But we can all say that Usyk was cheating a little bit as well too. Not doing steroids or anything, but let's keep it real. You're in an inferior weight class. You're going to be able to do what you want in that weight class. So him going to heavyweights and you guys feeling like he's about to be something spectacular there because he beat Anthony Joshua, a guy who's a mental midget as is, then that's not going that doesn't warrant him to be the number one boxer in the world. And I understand why you don't want to put Errol and Bud up there. They don't fight enough. I'll give you that. But you can't tell people, you can't tell me you can't put Devin Haney up on a little bit higher on that list. You can't put Tank a little bit higher on this list. And the biggest travesty of them all is the Charlo brothers. And now we know it's personal. We know it's personal because we know how it is with the Charlo brothers. The Charlo brothers are a difficult duo to deal with when you're actually interviewing them. But they're really not that difficult. You just have to ask them smart questions. You guys ask them some of the dumbest questions you possibly can ask them. And that's why the shit gets stupid with them. And that's why they act the way that they act. Because you're not respecting them where they're coming from. You're always trying to get them to get angry so you can have some type of soundbite and talk bad about what they've done for their careers. And I just really feel like at the end of the day, these pound for pound lists don't matter. They really don't. We know who the best boxers in the world are. And those 10 guys on that list, half of them are they're not the top 10 guys in the world. We're not going to say that they're not world class. We're not going to say that they're not elite, but they don't belong on that list. If you're not a champion, get the hell off that list. And if you're an undisputed champion, you need to be in the top 5 of it. At the end of the day, it's your opinion, though. That's your opinion. So when you have 30 other publications come out with their opinion, everything just looks like you're just putting up your favorite 10 fighters. Let's just keep it real. You know what I mean? So it's okay to be like that, but really, you need to be able to be fair, be concise, and put the right stuff together. Don't play the people. You can't sit up in here with has-beens and never wases and all these other things and try to sell it as the sweet science. It's not helping the sport. It's keeping the sport exactly where it's at, a novelty. All right. So that's my 2 cents on that situation right there, because it's always a talk. It's always a blah, blah, blah type situation. And, we just go from there. But all in all, though, you guys already know what time it is. It's time for us to take a break. And when I get back, it's time for us to talk some baseball. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Captain.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Captain, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, I'm over here trying to all right. I just had to do something real quick. Okay, so yeah, so everybody make sure you block fake Nick, fake Sarge. For my man Nick, Hines, TVG fame. Great horseman as well too. The best in the game, period, point blank. Man, if you watch TVG, the only real person you're gonna deal with when they let him come on is Nick. That's it. But make sure you guys report, if you're on Twitter, make sure you guys report the fake Sarge Nick. Okay, at fake Sarge Nick, you got to get rid of him. Okay, we got to get rid of him today. And I'm letting Nick know that I'm announcing it on my show. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the Dodgers, though. Let's get into the Dodgers. Big weekend coming up for the Dodgers. Is it a possible World Series preview? Possible World Series preview? Dodgers start a 3-game series with their old World Series foes from New York. None other than the Yanks, the Bronx versus Brooklyn. A-Train, Uptown. You already know what time it is. 2-train, 3-train. You guys already know. And Brooklyn, baby, it's the Bronx. You already know. Man, if the Dodgers would have stayed in Brooklyn and the way hip-hop works, boy, oh boy, it would be so fun for those two teams to really just be like, make it so much fun. If Bronx versus Brooklyn. It's really now it's Bronx versus Queens. Don't nobody get excited about that. You know what I mean? But Bronx versus Brooklyn, you got the two toughest boroughs in New York City. So let's see. Now let's talk about the game. All right, let's get out of the let's get out of the pageantry of the situation. Let's see if my 8-horse won. No, it did not. Yeah, no, it did not. Cyber Ninja goes ahead and takes care of it, man. I had no winners at Belmont today, so it is what it is, man. But we have ourselves some fun to this weekend coming, and I truly do feel like we have a lot of really good players that will be a part of this series this weekend, and a lot of people have to understand that this is baseball to me. This is the essence of great baseball. And you got two teams that have themselves in a very, very good situation. The Yankees find themselves back in the mix, because they were in last place for a little bit. I keep mentioning that because it was just a shocker to me that the Yankees had such a slow start to the season that they wound up being in last place for a couple weeks. So, pretty much they were able to get out of that funk. Now, the Blue Jays have the dunce hat on. We kept thinking at first it was the Red Sox. Like everybody spent some time in last place in the division, except for Baltimore and the Rays. But the three teams that you would have thought that would have been at the top, they've been over here playing musical chairs in last place. But this is the best division in baseball. This division has nothing but winning records in it. And if you were to start the playoff, if you were to have any of these teams play in each of the divisions in the MLB, the only division they wouldn't be leading right now is the NL East and the NL West. You know what I mean? So you look at that situation and you say to yourself that, okay, we have two really good teams, and this is a possible World Series preview because these two teams are the standard in baseball, period. And you got a great pitching matchup tonight with Severino and Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw right now has to be the de facto ace, even though he's kind of been a little bad here in the last 3 games. He's given up over 10 runs, but he's been able to strike out 19 in that process as well too. But he's also given up 18 hits as well too. So there's just a lot of things that you look at and you say, all right, Dodgers, this is what we got to do. This is what we have to do to be great. And let's go ahead and try to get this one home tonight because this is going to be a tough series. But this is a series that will be a confidence booster if you win it because the Dodgers need a series like this to go against a team that has an equal type roster to them right now. You know what I mean? A team that has a lot of really good players that know exactly what they're doing, not just a bunch of guys out there trying to stay on an MLB team or a bunch of guys just being young trying to figure out the game. This is a good series. This is what we want to see in the World Series. We want to see teams like this play in the World Series. We don't care. The Cinderella act is getting old. You know what I mean? You want to have the best teams playing against each other. So the Yankees, to me, really needed that motivation from the Rays this year, to be honest with you, because the Rays jumping out to the lead that they jumped out to makes it the Yankees' motivation that much better moving forward. But I still think that we have a long ways to go. And the Dodgers really now have to worry about holding off the Diamondbacks because the Diamondbacks have actually became the number 1 team in the NL because they've been able to just keep pacing on the Dodgers. And literally that loss to the Nats was a little bit bigger than what it needed to be. But you have to understand the Diamondbacks had an extra game. The Dodgers had the day off. So it happened. So pretty much the Dodgers have the Diamondbacks nipping at their heels. And I pretty much okay. Damn. But yeah, so pretty much I have a lot of different looks about this. So let's make sure that we keep things civil too, because Dodger fans get a little out of control when they're around other rambunctious fans, especially New Yorkers. So let's try to keep things a little civil here at Dodger Stadium. But from what I can see here, I think that if you play a series price, I would play the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers win 2 out of 3 here. I think that they're going to split the first 2 games, and then they're going to have a hell of a game on Sunday Night Baseball. Tomorrow, as I said, you got Garrett Cole starting tomorrow, and then I think that you're gonna have Domingo Germain closing out the series for the Yankees Sunday. But the Dodgers have Clay kind of back in the, like I said, back in the ace role. And then you have the next day, I think you got Gosselin pitching game 2 for the Dodgers. And then for game 3, no, you got Michael Grove. I talked about that yesterday too. Michael Grove coming back up, and Bobby Miller. So you got 2 guys who are considered your future, and then you have the guy that's considered your present. So this is going to be a good weekend for Dodger fans to get to know some new Dodgers, and for Dodger fans to root on some old Dodgers. So let's go ahead and move on to our MLB Friday night preview, and let's talk about the MLB first. We got a full schedule tonight. We actually do have a game going right now with the Brewers and the Reds, and it's crazy because the Reds are actually in 3rd place, and the Brewers are right at it's nuts right now in the NL Central. So they got teams that are really playing for something real right now. So pretty much we got a full schedule tonight. We already got a game going. Brewers are up 2-0. I got 3 games here for you tonight. We got an American League game, an Interleague game, and a National League game. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. It's going to be the Phillies and the Nats, and this is a battle for who's going to be in last place. So pretty much you have, and the reason why I'm on it today, though, it's Josiah Day. And this guy has been absolutely incredible in his last few games. So this is an easy call for me, y'all. I'm taking the Nats today with the money line because the Phillies are absolutely struggling right now. They are putrid. They are nasty. You know what I mean? They're annoying big time. They wind up going to Queens this week. They lose 3 in a row. They wound up losing, and really it's their 4th in a row. They kind of had a bad month last month where, they lose 5 in a row, then win 5 in a row. This has kind of been a trend for the Phillies lately, and the Phillies been really bad against their division as well, too. So today they're going against the hottest pitcher in baseball. They're not going to tell you that. Josiah Gray is 4-5 right now. Josiah Gray hasn't had a bad game in I don't know how long. And the guy only went 0-4 to start the year was because he wasn't getting any run support. The most runs he's given up since April 12th is 3. So this guy knows what to do, pretty much point blank. And in the last game, he pitched lights out. He only pitched 4 innings, but he pitched very well. And Josiah is just taking it one game at a time, and he finds himself 4-5 right now. So we're going to take the hottest pitcher in baseball right now, in my opinion, because I pay attention to the pitchers. I was a pitcher myself. And I think that he's going to outduel Zach Wheeler today, even though Zach Wheeler did strike out 12 and pitch 8 shutout innings against Atlanta last week. So this is going to be a good pitching matchup tonight. So I'm taking the Nationals to win this game with the plus 155. But you possibly might want to take the under here in this game tonight as well, too. That looks like a locked-in play as well. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next game, which is going to be the Blue Jays and the Mets. The Blue Jays coming into this one 30-27, the Mets 30-27. But the thing is with the way that you differentiate the two, you have a Blue Jays team that's actually in last place as we speak. And then you have actually the Blue Jays have moved out of last place. Sorry, Mike. Boston's back in the basement. You have the Mets who are sitting in second place, 3.5 games behind the Braves. So this series is important this weekend for both of these teams. Even though it's not the end of the season, it won't be a difference in the season. This is a good barometer to see exactly how good your team is. You got Justin Verlander, a guy who's been actually struggling, the last few games and everything like that. He actually gave up 6 runs against Colorado. A big surprise there as well, too. And only struck out 2 that day in 5 innings and gave up 9 hits. But the game before that, he only gave up 1 run, struck out 5, went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits. And then the game before that, he gives up 6 runs. So it's kind of been very inconsistent with Justin Verlander. So that's something that we haven't been able to trust that much lately. Chris Bassett has been absolutely rocked after actually pitching. From what I'm seeing right now, he actually pitched 23 scoreless innings at one point this season. And then in the last 2 games, he's actually given up 13 runs. He struck out 9, walked 3, and has given up 16 hits. So he's really getting shellacked a little bit right now. And he's kind of slowing down a little bit because he had got himself back up after his ERA was really kind of high, and got himself down to 305 after that last scoreless outing that he had. But he's wound up losing the last 2 starts because of these bad outings as well too. So he wants to bounce back. But today, from what I can see here, a lot of this game really is all about who has the hotter bats. And both these teams have not been scoring a lot of runs lately. So I do like the Mets today. For some odd reason, I like the Mets a lot today. And I think that they'll be able to take care of Verlander, get themselves a 2-run win or better here, because it just seems like the Blue Jays kind of struggle against the National League. Even though they swept the Braves, they've been struggling against the National League a lot this year. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Now let's get into a game between 2 first-place teams. I hate to say it, but, the D-backs and Dodgers are tied for first place, but technically the D-backs are in first place because they own the tiebreaker at the moment. The Braves, right behind them, and these 2 teams are vying for who's going to have the best record in the National League. But I don't think that they're really vying for it because the Dodgers are playing tonight, so pretty much they'll be able to get back into form. But this is a big game and a big moment for the Diamondbacks because they can see exactly who they are in this game. They can see what they're all about in this game. You know what I mean? And they're starting at 640 as well, too. I would say that this is going to be a sellout. You got Charlie Morton on the mound, and then you got who you consider your ace in Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly has pitched phenomenal last game, struck out 10, gave up a run in 6 1/3, and only gave up 4 hits that day. So that's a pretty good outing last time out. He's at a 2.83 ERA after struggling the first few games of the season. He finds himself now in pretty good shape, 6-3, and a big reason why this team is sitting pretty the way that they are. Charlie Morton, he had a pretty good start last time out against Philadelphia at home. He struck out 9, gave up 2 runs, and walked 4. But the game prior to that against the Dodgers, he gave up 6 runs, struck out 5, gave up 7 hits, and gave up 7 hits in the last 3 games as well, too. That's something that you do have to look at tonight. But I do feel like what happens here is we get the pitchers to show up, and both these teams are going to be over-aggressive tonight, in my opinion, because they see that they both have some great records going on. So we're going to get ourselves a chess match tonight, and I think that we're going to get the under 9.5 in this spot. So with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take another commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to go ahead and actually jump into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and I'll be right back at you in about 2 minutes, really about 98 seconds.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. Let's go ahead and jump into Talking Tickets today. And pretty much Talking Tickets, as I said before, you guys go ahead and sign up with the our new sponsor, PickYourAction.com. And bettors who sign up, you'll get your deposits matched up to 100%, up to $1,000. And then also they offer the daily payouts that everybody wants. So pretty much go over there and get your daily payout. You know, you got Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle. And you know Zelle is the best because Zelle, you don't have to pay no fees. So pretty much you use my promo code POPNEW. Please let me know that you use the promo code. And give them about 5 minutes before they load everything in there for you, because you know you got to make the deposit, and then they have to see that you made the deposit, and then they'll go ahead and match it. So don't go get too crazy if you don't see your match deposit minutes after you sign up. So pretty much with that, let's go ahead and get started on the tickets that I have for you guys today. Up first, we have the WNBA Friday Night PK4, 15-1 ticket. We have the over 158 with the Liberty in the Sky tonight. We have the Wings with the +8 tonight. Also, we have the under 172.5 with the Aces and the Dream. And then we have the Sparks +140 tonight with the money line. And then we also have ourselves the and here you go, coming in late. It's all good. It's Friday, baby. Friday. Shout out to nephew. Hopefully he got some banging tickets as well too. So we have the Nats money line +155, our dog of the day. We also have the Mets +145. We need them to win by 2 runs or better. We got the Mariners and the Rangers in their spot tonight with the over 8, and then we have the Rockies and the Royals. I'm kind of gambling here tonight. I'm going to take the under 9.5 here. I feel like these two teams are going to be kind of a little sheepish when it comes to scoring runs tonight. And then we have the White Sox money line -160. You know, they're going to have to get it together, though, because Detroit, don't even know that they're supposed to be this bad this season. And then we got the Angels +1.5. Shotani on the mound with the -185. Shotani has a good spot tonight, though. I like the spot that they're in tonight. This should be a very, very good game for the Angels. And I'm only taking them as a over-insured bet. Let's just say that. All right, so we have ourselves the late PK4 tonight, 14-1. I got the under 9.5 with the Braves and the Diamondbacks. Then I also have the Cubs with the +1.5, -140. Then we have the over 8 with the Yanks and the Dodgers tonight. And then we got the Orioles as another dog today, but not the dog of the day, but the bailout dog, the late night dog, the dog that's gonna get you far. You know what I mean? And yeah, +130 on the money line to that. It's all good, man. You got to get your rest in, man. That's called hard work. You know, when lazy people are sleeping, that's just so they can just forget about not being productive. But when working people go take naps and things like that, it's much deserved because your ass been putting in that work. All right, so NBA Finals game, 2 bets, 8.5 +8.5 to the Heat. Over 110.5 for the first half. I got the Heat winning the first quarter +160 money line. And then I got the Heat going over 103 team total. Don't think that I'm trying to just run Heat and I'm just Heat and I'm a Heat fan and things of that nature. This is just how I see the game playing. I told myself, don't make any reservations for somebody's feelings. I know that a lot of you guys think that, you know, pretty much sometimes I'm doing square stuff. But I'm just doing what the writing on the wall says. You know what I mean? And I've been pretty sharp for a while now. So, you know, I'm not new to the party, buddy. So, you know, I just had to send a little I just got to let you guys remember that They call me the OG for a reason, dog. And so pretty much always respect where I'm coming from when it's time to do this sports betting stuff, dude. Seriously. So, yep, there it is. There it is. Once again, you guys sign up for the pickyuraction.com. Bettors who sign up, you get 100% match deposit. No ifs, ands, and buts about it, up to $1,000, and you get the daily payout. But you need to use that promo code POPNEW. Okay, so yep, we'll be back at it on Monday. Much love to you guys as well too. It's time for me to get to my horses over here at Santa Anita. And I know y'all looking at me like, where's the Golden Gate? We're gonna get Golden Gate on in a little bit. Okay, we'll have the second half of the Golden Gate card and the Golden Hour pick 4 as well too. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. So I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in once again today. You guys are the absolute best. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.